Um, Thank you, Chloe, for the warm and beautiful introduction. Um, my my name is Arshita, and I'm the CEO of Glutenal Bakery. We are a BC-based company, so we are a local company, and we craft gluten-free, vegan, plant-based foods designed to making healthy living joy and tasty. Um, as a person, I feel my five core values, values which I live by are that I'm a by nature, I feel I'm a philomath. I want to learn something new. I'm a thinker. I'm an empathizer, and I'm a coach and a strategist. So whatever I do, whatever I've done so far, I always make sure I'm able to check these boxes to add value and to be happy myself. I love learning. I love questioning and try to constantly evolve both personally and professionally. And right now, I'm pouring all that energy into growing Glutna, Canada and US wide, and trying to make sure we are what everyone should call us, like the cleanest brand out there. And not just in ingredients, definitely in ingredients, but also in honesty, quality, and the intention in every decision. I feel my story with health in general started long before business. Back in India, when I did my high school and like basically when I did grade 12, I always focused on like one career path and I only knew that the only way I can save lives is by being a doctor. Like my mom is a doctor, so it was a very linear career path for me. Um, but I guess I always like wondered with growing population, with growing variety of diseases, like something inside me always was like, how do we like is this is the only way? So I guess I always was like pushing for a bigger idea of wellness, which was like prevention. Um, I came to Canada when I was 18. I moved on my own as a teenager, and I was looking for growth, looking for opportunity, for independence, and just to learn things. Um, yeah, and then when I joined SFU, I did an internship at Fraser Health where I collaborated with like teams in stroke and diabetes. Again, I did a lot of quality improvement projects and honestly, it opened my eyes. I realized so many like chronic illnesses can just be basically prevented through awareness and through nutrition. And that's when I kind of like realized that medicine just doesn't happen in like um hospitals, but also in kitchen. So I live by the idea food is medicine, and I believe that belief kind of guided me even when I joined Glutenal when I was 18. As Chloe mentioned, I started at the very basic. I was cleaning trays, I was packaging, labeling boxes, and basically learning everything I could. It was kind of like my first job, so anything was like, oh wow, I'm learning something new today. And it's still like that, even after 8 years at Glutna. I learn something new every single day, and I feel that what keeps me so like motivated and curious. Um, so yeah, when I joined Glutnal, I feel like I was packaging. I wanted to know a story behind every product, every order which is getting out of the bakery. And I used to find joy even in small things like reading a customer's address and be like, oh, Nanaimo, where is this? And I used to, Google, like I was learning about Canada as well because I was a new immigrant. So I guess like I wanted to know every possible thing. And over time, that curiosity, that interest in like health and nutrition kind of led me into helping Glutenal with marketing, sales. I was doing production management at the time. I was doing operations, um, account management, a bit of like AP. I learned QuickBooks through Glutenal. So I guess like everything which I could learn. And eventually, yes, I was offered the role for becoming their CEO, and I was 24 at that time. So yeah, it's been wonderful. 2 years learning something new every possible day and making sure I give my best every day. So yeah, basically my journey with Glutenal has been very organic, just like our ingredients. And yeah, so I feel like that's about me. And yeah, back to Chloe.
It is a really wonderful story you have talk about your experience. And I really appreciate that you, even though you are still in young age, but you already have a lot of experience. I am still I'm still getting to know how to use QuickBooks, and you already like
No,
different.
I learned it through like I used to come home and watch YouTube videos. Like I feel like everything is out there. Like as long as you want to learn, like things are out there. There's so many resources and people want to share. You go to someone and be like, "Hey, I see you're doing this. Is it okay if we go for a cup of coffee and you tell me how to do this or something?" Like people want to share the knowledge and the experience they have, right? Like I guess the hardest part is asking. But yeah, well done on like learning how to use QuickBooks. It's like now when I look back, I'm like, oh, it wasn't that tough. But I remember when I used to like see people making invoices and I used to be like, oh my gosh, I can never learn this. Like this looks so hard and everything. But yeah, I guess you just need to have an open mindset to anything which comes your way and be like, it's okay if I don't know it today, but I'm gonna try learning it.
I believe that you keep on challenging yourself when you like when you're working or studying. You keep on challenging a new thing to yourself. So
Yeah, yeah.
basically, I want to know what you have a lot of experience on uh in Goodnew. How do you think that that's kind of hand-on experience, hand-on journey shape how you approach the decision as a leader today? How it affects your decision making?
Um, I think there's one thing I'd like to share about Glootnal as well that before I kind of like dive into your question, that we are a small team. We are about like 10 to 12 full-time employees. And I feel everyone, and we are very multicultural. Everyone comes from a different like country and like culture, and it's beautiful. And everyone's been working from like ever since they joined, and like a head baker's been working from more than 10 years, a driver's been working for 15 years, um and our second head baker's just completed her 10 years. Our shipping receiving's been there for like 7 to 8 years. Like, so I feel like, and including me, like I'm completing 8 years or 9 years, I think, next year. So is our sales manager. So I feel like everyone's been there since I joined. So they've seen me packaging, they've seen me shipping, and they've seen every role I did. So when as a leader I have an idea or something, it's not about like, hey guys, this is what I think we need to do. It's about like already knowing, because I've worked with each and every one. It's very easy for me to just go to them and just have everyone come together and be like, let's solve this. And I feel that's what leadership is about. We are very lucky that our team has been like, we have such a good retention rate and everyone's like working so hard and everything, which makes it very easy for us to really like make those hard decisions, because everyone's a jack of trade when it comes to their role as well, because they've been working there for like in that role for 10, 15 years. They already know all the mistakes which can happen, and because I have done all those roles, I already know what can go wrong. So I feel I have a very funny answer to this, but what really helps me making my decision is the fact that I have done all those roles, so I know all the possible things which can go wrong, so I know what not to do. And I know when I make a decision, how is this going to impact each and every role and each and every like a piece of cardboard to a tape. Like I know how is it going to impact and what goes into each and everything. So that really helps me make my decision making process and my overall strategies, that process very easy. Yeah, I hope that that kind of like answered.
Yeah, and yeah, I understand that having experience is really important to build step by step on on your role. So there's
Yeah.
a question in chat. Carlos is asking did how did the personal connection to your health influence how you build and market the brand?
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
I'll just.
I can frame the question to Arshida. So I
Uh-huh.
really I really enjoyed how you like coming from a aspiring medicine kind of background. from your parents and
Yes.
whatever, and kind of your interest in healthcare suddenly
Yes.
changed as well to the kind of the conscious food branding kind of industry. So how did
Mhm.
that personal connection to health also influence how you built and marketed the brand?
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel although we are in a CPG industry, like with Glutenal, we make products and we sell to grocery store. It's very like about sales, marketing, and everything. But
Mhm.
because our products are so unique, the our audience is so like, unique. Like we try to cater to basically everyone, anyone who has any allergies. You could be on elimination diet. You'll find something for yourself at Glutenal, and that involves a lot of nutrition and a lot of knowledge of, again, how not just food science but also how our genetics work, how all the like inflammatory diseases work and everything. And I feel that comes from my that background in molecular biology, biochemistry, and back when I was preparing for med school as well. So that connection from health kind of helps us make decisions. Like a lot of our products are actually diabetic friendly. So again, those decisions to launch those products and which ingredients to use to make the net carb kind of zero. Um, I think it's really like my background in science really helped me make those decisions and help me perform my job better.
And
Yeah.
currently, what are the channels you use to sell your products?
So currently we have three channels. We do directly to consumers through an online store. We have a small store in Port Coquitlam where I would openly love to invite everyone listening to this. um, Monday to Friday, we are there like 9 to 3, 9 to 4. So that's our second channel. And then our third and like our main, like 98% of our business is selling to grocery stores. So you can find us at all the lovely retailers around, like Save On Foods, Whole Foods, Nature's Fair, Choices Market,
Nice.
and all the natural food retailers.
So
Yes.
that's your main source of income, let's say.
That's our main source of like sales. Yes, correct.
Okay.
So we're
Interesting.
trying to grow e-commerce. It's a small portion right now, 2 to 3%, but it definitely is on like our goals for Q4 of 2025 or 2026 to make sure to grow our e-commerce to be at least 20 to 25% of our business. Like
Mhm.
e-commerce is so huge right now. You're able to serve customers directly,
And the margins
and
are much higher, I assume.
margins are much higher. And sure, like the shipping and everything, but the reward is higher too in terms of
Yeah.
that direct consumer feedback you get. You feel you're making a bigger impact in a way. And it definitely like economically and financially, yeah, like e-commerce is one of the main things people need right now to survive. How I guess the business world is right now, right? Like with all the tariffs and taxes and everything, like because of the tariffs. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Carlos, for your questions.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I can ask more questions, but I will save it for later.
and thank you, Lily, for sharing. Thank you, Ashida, for sharing a lot of story about your business as well. So, I guess that our audience really want to know how you and how the business to retain the
Mm-hmm.
trust from the customer. So, from this couple years of experience, what are the key values that you treasure the most and that could make you standing here and talk chatting with us? Could you share
Yeah, no, for
some of
sure.
that?
For sure. It's funny you mentioned trust. It's like number one. I think we have it's a it's a joke again. Like you can ask us how we retain customers. Um I think we trap them. But trap, I don't mean trapping them, but trap basically stands for like trust. T for trust, R for giving them a reason to believe in you. A is like being authentic, appreciating, and P is having a purpose. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? And it really needs to be a higher purpose, not just doing sales or, falling into a new trend or something. It really needs to be a deeper purpose. So I think those are the four things which if are in place, you will definitely have lifelong customers. So trust, reason, being authentic, appreciating, of course, and purpose. So, and then
Mhm.
you'll be able to trap um, sales.
I love
So
how you
yeah,
frame it.
I actually got inspiration from my professor at SFU. His name is Sam Thiara. I was just mentioning my like these ideas to him, and he was like, "Wow, it's like that he the word is from him." He said the word trap, and I was like, "Did you just come up with that?"
Now, we know we
So
know Sam very well as well. So great to
he's
know a
amazing.
good professor.
Yeah, yeah.
I know that you have a couple segments you want to share to our audience. Do you want to share of those?
Yeah, for sure. I have like a few like eight segments I kind of really stand by when it comes to like how to like retain customers. Maybe we can go one by one and you can ask me if there's anything I can support it with or any things I can, share more than that. So the first one would be of course trust. So I guess why customers stay is because you need to offer them quality and the intention needs to be there. Like, of course, a customer is coming to for a product, but they kind of stay like, for a promise almost that then that promise is about quality. Um, and again, like our customers aren't just buying a cookie or a loaf of bread. They are trusting us with their allergies and they're trusting that we're feeding their families. And it doesn't always like make sense, I guess, on business, on paper, all these, I guess, things we do. Um, we we make our own chocolate. That's like one example I have to share when it comes to like trust. We had a recall years ago. We were buying chocolate from somewhere, and we got so scared after that we were like, we need to make our own chocolate. We cannot have ever like any chances of cross contamination with like vegan and non-vegan chocolate because again, a lot of our customers have allergies and we want to make sure if it says it's vegan, it is vegan, right? Like we cannot have a may contain chances of and everything. Like it's scary. So we make our own chocolate and it's not easy. We have to make it like of course dairy free. We are a peanut free facility. We buy cocoa powder, cocoa butter, mix it, and like we have to make it dark chocolate too. So there's no sugar in it and we have to make it tasty, which is another thing, right? And if you calculate the labor and the ingredients in it, you'd be like, that's the worst business decision. Like, why would you do this, right? Because we cannot sell the product more expensive just because our we make our own chocolate. Like, then people won't be able to like buy it, stores won't be listing it. So, but then again, like I feel maintaining that sense of integrity is not easy, but it's essential. And I feel like I've learned something spiritual that when your heart is at the right place, things happen on your own. Universe kind of takes care of you. People come back to you with like orders and sales. And I think one learning lesson for me here is to that we have these beautiful like stories, but we need to make sure our customers know, like in the age of social media, I feel like that's one thing. It's so important to share all these lovely things we do. So yeah, that's the first thing I have about like letting customers kind of, having quality and intention. What do you think, Chloe?
Yeah, I believe that you must use a lot of hard work on creating a product because I know that some of the customer may really find really hard to find a food that is able to eat because there's a lot of in the market you can find a lot of things with peanuts or with milk dairy product there.
Yeah, no, 100%. Um, so yeah, that was the first one. The second one I feel would be listening and innovating always. Last year I feel we did a lot of farmers markets for the first time this year, and uh, it almost makes me wonder why did we never do them before? Like, it's one of those things which is just like, where were we? Why didn't we do this before? So, and at farmers markets, we have people coming asking for sourdough baguette and or sourdough bun, or something which is gluten-free and sourdough. And we experimented entire summer. And just last in September, we had a trade show. We did a soft launch, and we already have it listed like now at top retailers, and we'll be like launching next year. But again, to look at it from a bigger lens, it just rings one bell um that when you put your customers like in focus first, the sales follow. All you need to do is listen and like innovate and have the heart and like passion there to make sure you are delivering what's being asked.
By
So
listening to your customer, how can you turn their
yeah.
feedback to immediate action so to retain them?
Passion, it's passion. Our bakers, like we have this thing whenever, even if we receive an email through our shop email that, guys, can you make something like this or whatever? Like, we have lunch every day, like together. Our The owner of Blut Malotari, he loves to cook, and he makes lunch. Everyone sits together, and like I think that's one space which is like open for ideas, and like um that's where I've seen most innovation happening, to be honest. Like ideas being just discussed, and that one customer was asking for this, and then Otari, or like our head baker Hadi, being like, okay, let's see this Friday maybe, and then next thing you know, on Monday you come and there's already like a tray of like that product ready for tasting. So I think you need to have that passion for creating something new, and that's what turns ideas into reality. Yeah.
I have tried the almond cookies, by the way. They're very good.
Oh,
Yeah, I,
nice,
I,
nice.
I now remember that I usually buy them in Safeway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the bakery section. Yeah, I've seen them.
Yes. Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Carlos.
Yeah.
It's nice that you guys can immediately being really innovating and create new stuff for the
Yeah, and I feel like trying is so important. We know that people will love it. They need to try it. So we always trying making it like easier, I feel, for people to try the product. You can like when we are even doing demos or like doing trade shows, like we always make sure we have like a fair price on, so people can try it, take it home, try it with their friends and family. And I feel whenever we do it, whether it's a farmer's market, a demo, we see immediate sales. So getting your products on the grocery shelves is not the hardest thing. It's about people buying from that grocery shelf, and
How
they
long
would
did it took
buy.
you to put your products on in the shelves in the grocery stores?
It can honestly take anywhere from 1 week with the store, like a local store where you go have a phone call and get it done, and it can take up to 2 years with some big chains, where even after committing that okay, there's going to be an order, it can take 2 years or like a year for them to see where to make the space and the next category review coming in. So it's a long process, and I feel that's where online store again rings the bell, that we should have an outlet where if we tried something new and we like the product and we know people will like it, we put it on our online store right away. So, yeah, I feel like even at trade shows, we never have hired any contractors, any brand ambassadors, and gave them a cheat sheet to read through. It's always our own sales staff who goes to the trade shows. It's our own, like our sales managers. I always make sure I'm there. Our head bakers go. So when customers are interacting with you, trying to know about the product, and they feel the difference, that we know everything. Like we are the ones who know the products inside out, and we can answer the real questions. And I feel that the customers feel that when they interact with us. So that authenticity kind of, which is the A out of the trap model, the authenticity, I feel like, builds that trust. Um, and customers remember those genuine conversations. Yeah, so I think another tip for retaining customers is that whenever you can get out and talk to customers, get out there. You are the best one to talk about your product. Yeah,
yeah, at face-to-face talk about the product is the best way to approach them.
100%. And not just that, I feel like phone calls, right? Like where face to face is not possible, phone calls. Another, I think, big like idea of retention is being accessible, so that people can reach out to you. If you call us, you're not going to be given a menu of 5 options, choose one for Ashita. Just no, like there's no robot where you have to be like, no, I want to speak to a real person. It's very easy to reach us. You just give us a call and we try to pick it up like within 1 to 2 rings. And So again, like those real people, real conversations, that's what helps retain customers. We have like a couple they call every Thursday from I think Lonsdale Key, and they're like, oh, I want to go to Loblaws North Vancouver. Do they have breads? But again, like it's like a small thing, but we love those calls. They remind us like who are we really serving, right? And they are lifelong customers. They buy 6 loaves a week, and you can already calculate like that's so much coming from one family, right? So yeah, and not just with customers, I guess with grocery stores as well. We try to keep the communication very simple. We, of course, like right now when we get orders, a lot of people just email us, I want 1 case of this, 1 case of this. But again, like where possible, I feel like the power of phone call is something else. Over the phone call, like we can ask what's working, what's not working, how can we fix this issue? Okay, let me come tomorrow and fix the issue. Like it's just so like on point. Like it's like fire. So the secret I feel to that retention there is again it's just being available. So that's here you go. Another one, being available through trade shows, being going out there and being available through phone where possible. Yeah, and being easy to reach. Like customers know if there's an issue, they'll call and someone will pick up.
Yeah, what if the business is like already like past the growing part, is like already grown? So
Yeah.
what is your advice to that kind of entrepreneur, that how can they easily accessible to reach the customer?
Yeah, no, I feel like no matter how much you've grown, you always need the best customer service and the best, like, you need to make sure if say you're 10 times bigger or 100 times bigger, so you need to have those 10 times more customer service people helping, picking up phone calls, because no matter how big the company is, I feel like I, as a consumer as well, if I have a problem, I need to reach out, and I know I won't be able to reach out. There's no number on the website. There's just a web form, which I don't know if someone will like reply to. I feel like my my trust just goes there. So yes, no matter how big you are, I feel you always need to have the best customer service.
I totally agree with this point. I hate to some company, I cannot reach out to them for example,
Yeah.
suggestion or complaint. If I cannot reach out, so I won't continue staying there. That really a good point.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Uh, do you have more segment to talk about?
Um, so we've talked about listening, we've talked about trust, we've talked about being authentic, being accessible. I think I have maybe two more kind of points which I can share, which is, if possible, I feel one of our ideas is that have something for everyone. Our biggest value, one of our biggest values is inclusivity. So we want to make sure we have something for, again, like everyone. It's not easy, it's complex, it adds to cost, it adds to lots of production checks. But again, we don't want anyone left out at the dinner table. Like that's our biggest kind of something which scares us, that someone's at the dinner table or someone's in a party and they can't find something for them, right? So I think that's where Glutenal comes with the rescue. So we're completely, again, like peanut free, we're vegan, we're gluten free, we have lots of like back to school kind of items. um we use non-GMO vegan ingredients, organic. And again, like our ingredients are so simple. You can literally just check the back of any product, and there's no ingredient you'd need to Google and be like, what's this, right? Like it's simple ingredients which are just dense, nutritionally rich, and which you feel when you eat them, you feel the difference. So I guess like another thing with customer retention is being being simple, because that helps build the trust part,
Mm.
and being honest. Yeah, like for a food brand, like don't have too many ingredients, like being easy to read, and people should be able to trust you that way. So that would be one, and then I think another one would be um
Relationship.
to yeah, 100% with relationships. Like I feel like show your side, human side. Um, even on social media, like those relationships are so important, like having a strong social media and like showing what's going on at the back and everything. And yeah, it's beautiful you mentioned relationships because I feel um, if out of everything I have to choose one thing which has helped Glutner the most in retaining customers, it's turning customers into advocates. And I feel that's when you know you're successful in customer retention. When you have customers going to people and being like, I tried this from Glutner, you need to try this as well. They tag us online. They share our stories that, oh, did you know Glutner's boss like makes lunch for everyone every day? Like, like those stories do touch people like their hearts. And like I feel like for us they're such like regular small things, right? Like but yeah, just basically um doing a good job so your customers can become your advocates. Like we send thank you messages where possible. We're making an order, sure, it just takes 10 seconds to write thank you, but the person who receives it, the that positivity, that love, that multiplies, right, every time you do something. And I guess we ask for feedback as well, a lot from customers, and when they believe in your mission, they do that marketing for you. So yeah, that was it.
I want to reply what you say is something for everyone. I think it's echo to what you mentioned. Try to trap the customer.
Yeah, something for everyone. You cannot get out of this trap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is there any moment for you that you think that your customer really believe in Grudno and makes you feel like success to try to trap people in the group though? Can you share this
Yeah, yeah.
with us?
Yes, I feel one of those moments was last week. We had a customer come in. She wanted to buy breads. I was covering at the shop, and I asked her. It took me like a second. How do you know about us? And she mentioned she heard about us from a nutritionist. And I feel that's when I like as a listener, I'm like, wow, like the fact that we are being recommended, especially by doctors and nutritionists and stuff, and it's completely organic, right? We haven't reached out to anyone being like, please recommend us or something. Like we're not running any ads about it or any such thing. I think that's what warms my heart and like everyone's heart at Glutenal the most, when we feel we have succeeded, when people recommend us basically. And yeah, I sent a thank you note to the nutritionist. I was like, where does she work? White Rock. I just searched up her name, and I was like, thank you so much for recommending us, right? And I feel it goes a long way. That gratitude, that feeling of appreciation, that goes a long way. It wasn't like any partnership or something that I was like, oh, thanks for recommending. Maybe if you recommend five more, I will give you a discount or something, right? Like it was just completely organic, just natural, just a thank you. And I feel it goes a long way.
Yeah,
So yeah,
sometimes the word of mouth is really powerful.
100%, 100%.
And also, I really like how you being grateful to the nutritionist to say thank
Yeah.
you. You maintain the relationship, as you mentioned.
Yeah, it was very natural. Like it takes what 5 seconds to just say like just type thank you and press send. Nothing, right? Like how many thank yous do we get in a day? So I feel like it would make my day if I just receive a random thank you from someone for making their day or for like making a difference in their lives, right? So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, life is not always as smooth as we thought, right? So, has there been a time that you had to rebuild the trust from the customer? And how can you handle this crisis?
Um, I think being very open about what went wrong helps a lot. Of course, we are a very artisanal bakery. We make everything by hand. Our breads and like it's very natural. We do not add any yeast to our breads and stuff. They're very again natural. Once in a while, I think like we had this stage where our breads had like almost like a hole in them or something like inside, like the dough wasn't like mixing well, I guess. And that really like um of course like Didn't happen a lot, like maybe 10 to 15 such cases in one batch. But again, like, people buy with that trust, and then we received emails that this has happened. First thing, we reimbursed them. Not only reimbursed, like we understand they spend time going complaining like to us, like it all takes time providing that feedback, like, so we send them a box of like breads and all other products they can try, because we were sorry about it, right? Like we were so embarrassed. So I think things go wrong all the time, but you need to be open about it. You need to fix it, and you need to make sure the customer's in the loop. You need to make sure you tell them what case this what the case number is. You need to make sure they're given updates until the case is closed, so they feel valued, that, oh, I know that they have fixed this problem, and I know next time I buy gluten, like, the dough is like there's no hole in the bread or something. Like, it's just a hypothetical example. It happened like 2 3 years ago though, but um yeah, I think being open to mistakes, and having the heart to fix them right away and really making it right, um fixes everything. And not just in business, in life too, right? Like everything we do, just like being open to it and being like, yeah, sorry, I messed up, but I'm gonna make it right by you. Yeah.
Sometimes things is already happened, just accept it and also do something to try to recover it or things like
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. I
yeah.
think like one of the things which I learned the hard way was that when we opened our online store, we were so big on like giving discounts, like because we were like, oh wow, like, there are these margins which are not there, because now we are selling directly to the consumers. We were like, let's give this percent off, and that helps with quick sales. But then customers would only buy when there's a discount on, right? And for us, that model wasn't sustainable, because like suddenly we realized, oh, but there are so many chargebacks and this cost and website breaks every 3 weeks. So like our expenses went up, and we're like, oh, we can't keep having these discounts. Like we were not making any money. Um, so I think that's when we realized, like, you don't get like that real relationship by discounts and everything. Like, of course there should be, whenever you can, you should. Um, but just sending samples, if they ordered breads and you notice that they might like a bun or an energy bar, and just putting a free sample of it and letting them try is better than any discount you can give. So having an open heart when it comes to samples, the more the merrier, the more the people try, the more the happiness, and I feel you feel it at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this technique is really useful for all the entrepreneur because letting people try so that let them to come back again to get that product if they like it. So
Exactly. Yeah.
do you have any suggestion or ideas how, besides giving sample, how can you let the customer come back to the store again?
I think second after samples would again be then coupons, and making sure there's a discount once in a while. That really helps sales. Um, but to be honest, like I feel if you have the right product and it tastes well, and you can show the customer how they can incorporate this into their life, like there's no reason for not to return, as long as you make sure that there's a purpose behind what you are doing and your customer believes in that. I don't feel you need to do anything to bring them back. They will come back because they believe in your mission, they believe in your product, and um yeah, and they are appreciative of like all the hard work we do to make this allergen free kind of product. So yeah.
Yeah, being true to the customer can help
To the
very
customer,
much.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, from sales point of view, I feel, yeah, of course discounts help with quick like sales, but no matter how many discounts you can give, if you don't have the right product which tastes good and is right, nothing can help. So making sure you have the right product first, and making sure there's a purpose behind it, and people align with your purpose, and it's you, like you're creating it for them, not for yourself, right? So you need to make sure that people are at the heart of everything. Your intentions should be very like, you need to know what you're doing and why you are doing. You need to remind yourself every day, I'm doing this for this reason, for this customer, or like for this like audience who's allergic to yeast, and I want to create a baguette for them so they can have a yeast-free like bread, like, reinforcing that belief. Yeah.
Yeah. From our previous conversation, we also mentioned the emotional connection with the customer is also easy to retain customer. So how can you, I mean, you as a CEO, you don't, do you always go to the store and chat with the customer or you no? So
Yeah,
how
yeah.
can, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, yeah. We are a small, again, like our warehouse is very functional.
Okay.
Um, it's like one bakery. We have office in the front, and then
Mm,
we have a corridor which kind of links the bakery to the warehouse where the actual production happens. As soon as you enter, you see all the baking, breads being baked, cookies coming out of the oven, all that like the aroma. And then you take a right, and then we have like our shipping space, and next to it we have the shop, like divided of course by a door. So I feel we all, not just me, everyone's like everywhere all the time. And we cover each other a lot. Like even the shop we've opened, we've not hired a specific person for the shop, because again, it's like a small thing we're doing just to be linked with our community and to add value to the kind of to the community in general, by sharing space and by sharing samples and having that space for people to come in and like try products. But we never had a budget for it or something that, oh, we should do this, because again, like it's all coming from just the idea that we just need some space to share samples. And I remember it was just like one day when we were like, oh, we should have a shop. And the next thing I know, next week we come, Utari's already bought like some pieces of wood from Home Depot and he's constructed it on its own. And then we're buying posters, we're sticking them like all in-house, all together. And then every day, even with the shop, we are like, oh, let me go for 4 hours and man the shop. And then the other person's like, and we have a working space there. We do our own work on the computer, and when customers come, we help them as well, but it's very efficient when it comes to using that space both
mm.
for our work as well and for serving the customers too. So yeah, not just me, everyone is everywhere.
It's like a family everywhere.
Yeah, 100%.
So how can you manage, I mean, you have a lot of laborers working with you as well. So how can you help? How do you help your team to build the same emotional connection with the customer so that they can success now with the customer relationships?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the one thing which goes a long way is showing like yourself, like when the customers are coming and you're talking to them. Really, product education goes a long way. That's a number one thing at Glutner. That you need to be able to talk about the product and the ingredients and everything, which is a like we do a lot when it comes to product education. And when you share that with customer, you're already building that emotional like kind of connection with them.
Mhm.
And um, of course, like we do lots of trainings and everything, but a lot of us wear a lot of hats already. So everyone who's in the shop is already kind of sales manager or marketing manager, and they do have experience from working all these 7 8 years at Glutner of serving customers in the roles they have. So I feel it was very easy for me because everyone's already very well trained on on like building that emotional connection with customers. Because if we are doing sales, we're talking to customers, we're talking to retailers, we already are well trained on like how what things can go wrong and how to really like give our heart there.
Yeah, I believe that all your employee are really well trained with the product knowledge and also how to chat with customer.
Yeah, no, 100%. And again, like, we're all very multicultural. Um, and again, like, like, we're all from different countries, we're all from different cultural backgrounds, and and everyone's everyone has a very big heart there, and we were all working from such a long time, 15 years, 10 years, right? Like something must be right. That's why it's happening, right? So yeah, the heart needs to be at the right space for that thing to happen at a workplace.
That's great to hear. So
Mm.
we come to our end of our chat today. So can you give one advice to our audience that how how to turn your first time buyers into a long-term loyal customer? What do you think every entrepreneur should remember?
Um, I think honestly, there's not one thing. I think it has to be a combination. You need to make sure you're giving them something to trust you. Um, Again, if it's a new business and it's a new product and it's a first time customer, again, like you need to make sure whatever you're doing, you're hitting those check boxes of like making sure the customers are able to trust you. They are able to believe in what are you doing, what purpose you have, and you are able to listen to their needs and being very open to innovating based on what their feedback is, and trying to build relationships everywhere. A customer, a store, a delivery driver, in between, like every single relationship matters, and having right intentions, I guess. So yeah, it has to be a mixture of all those things. But if I have to choose one, I would say never compromise on quality. You need to make sure you have the right product, and then everything else follows on its own.
Yeah, especially because when the company is focused on one product, if you goes wrong, the entire customer base will gone, right? So it's really
Exactly.
important to stay focused on the quality.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Very last question, Corey. So, Arshida, regarding grocery stores or retailers, what's your biggest lesson on how to expose more your brand in the stores?
Um, Doing demos. Um, when
Demos.
you are talking to a grocery store, trying to put the products on the shelf, again, like that sounds hard. It is hard. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but the battle doesn't again like end there. How to move the product from the shelf, and how are you going to make the person on the other end believe that you will do it, right? Are you just going to be like, I have a great product, like let me get it on the shelf? Like everyone has a, like, a story behind a brand and what they're doing, right? I think for grocery stores, you really need to have a strategy of how are you going to move that product from the shelf. You need to have right discounts in place. You need to be able to prove to the grocery store that you will do everything possible, for the fact that they're giving a chance, a space to you in their store. Demos help a lot, making sure you know which department you will fit in. Like, cookies sure go in bakery, but like, we always face this with few of our lines, like maybe some bars should go in grocery, some should go in bakery, like knowing where they should go. And that all, like, again comes back when you're designing the product. Those are the times to fix those mistakes if they were done. But um so for grocery store, I think one of the biggest lessons I have learned is making sure it's not just about getting the product on the shelf, but about having the right marketing plan of how to move it. And I feel like once we've started doing demos, everything, like, it really helps. You see the sales like literally next day. So yeah, and making sure you're not being thrifty with samples. Like every person you're talking to at the end, like, you're calling a grocery store, you're talking to a customer service person there who's going to redirect your call to the bakery, right? Like, tell them about the product, tell them about glutenal. The more people know about it, the merrier, right? Like, and ask them, what do they think about glutenal and its movement. And like, um again, like with bakery managers as well, have they tried glutenal? No, let me send you samples with the next order, right? Like, what does it take? Just like putting a few samples in the next order, but like that goes a long way. So those are my few tips, which has helped us immensely. And again, it's not really that we are doing it with the intention of like growing in that store, but because we want to just share the products. And again, like once your heart is at the right place, like everything flows in naturally.
Yeah, getting
Thanks for
feedback from
thanks for sharing, Ashita. Appreciate it.
yeah, getting feedback from customer is also how the shop can bring in more sales on it.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah. Um, is there any question to Ashita? Is you can take a good chance to ask Ashita about how to gain trust and with the customer and about the Gurnall as well.
Ashita, when is a moment where you figured out, okay, this kind of this product is and this brand, etc., is sustainable? Like
Sorry,
because
what?
it's sustainable because you went
Yeah.
through it for the last 6 years, so it's so well. So when did you start to see results and like the snowball going?
Yeah, no, 100%. I feel you when it comes to making products, basically product ideation, um, you need to make sure you are getting a lot of customer feedback and knowing what is needed in the market. Like right now, that example, that with farmers markets, people were asking for like sourdough baguettes, and you need to see what twist you can give to the product. Like we are trying to make it not just a sourdough baguette, but like a low sugar sourdough baguette, something which has no added sugar at all, like which is unheard of, when it comes to breads and buns. But glutenal breads and buns don't have any sugar at all, no yeast at all. So again, seeing how you can check off all the boxes at the same time, listening to consumers, and putting all that like feedback into designing the product, and then giving a lot of samples around, making sure you have the right feedback in, and then taking that feedback and changing products and everything. So I think that's what makes the process sustainable. That once you launch, it's going to be a good trajectory.
Thank you for this. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ashita, for sharing a lot of tips and also techniques to us.